inside Abuja. Abuja. Oh yeah. Abuja. You are welcome to inside Abuja. Abuja. Oh yeah. Abuja. You are welcome. Alright. To inside Abuja. Abuja. Oh yeah. Abuja. You are welcome to inside Abuja.
It's good. Well, my guest today on Dateline Abuja are Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi, is the head mass communication based university. I thank you so much for being part of Dateline Abuja again and again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Hauwa.
Okay, and we have Dorothy Njemanze. I got that right?
Yes, you got
She's a filmmaker, grassroots reorientator, and the president Dorothy Njemanze Foundation. You're welcome again to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you for having me again.
Well, we've had mixed reactions about the topic last week, where we talked about sexual harassment and how indecent dressing can be part of it. Well, in your own opinion, how do you think indecent dressing can contribute or cannot contribute to sexual harassment or molestation?
When I hear this, I always start by requesting from who mentions indecent dressing to define what the person refers to as indecent dressing. Because until we have a common stand on what constitutes this said indecent dressing, you have missed it. Anybody can sit down and for convenience of mischief choose to allege indecent dressing. Because somebody is very endowed, on any part of the body, particularly some people are extremely endowed, right? And so other mischievous people choose to say, oh, because I can see it, it is indecent dressing. Because it is not as concealed as other people's own, it is indecent dressing. So what to you would be this indecent dressing we're talking about? It would help a lot. As far as I'm concerned, whether or not somebody is even dressed, consent is the defining word. Usually, for anybody who is sane, anything that doesn't look good to you, that thing you call indecent, right, should repel you, right? So that thing that doesn't look good to you should not attract you. The things that don't look good, according to the people who are proponents of indecency, according to them, that are attracted to it, they need mental health. They need mental health. There are no two ways to it. So, and when we talk indecent dressing, it would be nice if you help guide us to what this indecent dressing is.
Okay, maybe exposing your parts, especially for a woman, wearing mini skirts, wearing maybe tops, especially to we talked about it based on higher institutions. For example, we're saying lecturers are harassing students. We're saying, is this because they are not properly dressed?
Well, I wouldn't say in the tertiary institutions. It's not only lecturers that harass students. Students harass lecturers. Students harass students. Human beings harass human beings.
Do you think indecent dressing is one of the major factors?
Oh no, it is not. Because criminals are criminals, irrespective of what there is. No matter how well covered I am, people who want to do what they would continue to do what they would. It's not a factor. Miniskirts exist. There's the reason the word mini exists. Miniskirts exist for a reason. Shorts exist for a reason. They're comfortable dressing. The people who say these things, do you know that when they go out abroad, they do not do certain things because they know that they're going to end up in jail? But what happens here? Our laws make excuses for criminals. Indecent dressing, whatever comes to indecent, I'm even using nakedness, worst case scenario. Nakedness is not an excuse for sexual harassment. Nakedness is not an excuse for rape, whatever it is. Consent has to be mutual, whether it's from students or from lecturer or from whoever it is. So a female student can harass a male lecturer. A male lecturer can harass a female student. When people hear indecent dressing, I'd like to know, when we see these guys with these damn singlets and I can see like their nipples. No! I mean, those singlets that have those spots, is that indecent dressing? The Fulani milkmaid, if she wears her traditional, the Fulani girl, if she wears her traditional dress to her lecture room, is it indecent dressing? Would it amount to indecent dressing? If I wear whatever my local dress is back home, to the lecture room, would it amount to indecent dressing? So, what should we have? Self-control, basic respect of human rights, identifying each other person as a human being. It is wrong for when the lecturer, somebody may be wearing a kaftan, very long kaftan and everything, and while the lecturer is lecturing, the person pulls it up and spreads legs apart. That's harassing the lecturer.
Yes.
The lecturer may be male, the lecturer may be female. The lecturer is human, and the lecturer deserves to be protected from such people. But even in the event that such a thing is exposed to you, there are proper things to do. That is not,
we'll come back on
nakedness. Even nakedness does not mean you are welcome.
Okay. Now, Doc, you are the lecturer now, so we're putting you in the hot spots. Do you think the way females are dressed can contribute to sexual harassment?
Yeah, well, I think there's something we need to initially understand.
Okay.
She has touched on some of it, and some of it I would like to also mention. And the truth actually is that dressing is a cultural thing. Dressing can be mainly cultural, and to some extent it's also religious. Okay, it can also be geographical, but to that extent it can be territorial. So what you think is indecent in your own environment may be decent in another environment.
Now we're looking at it from a Nigerian environment, in our own environment.
Environments are also different in Nigeria. Nigeria is not monolithic. Nigeria is a very heterogeneous society. Okay, and we belong to different religions, different cultures, we have different histories, and all those define the way we dress. But I'm going to take your understanding or the definition of decent dressing to mean averagely covering all the vital parts. Reasonably covering all the vital parts or sensitive parts. That will not be necessarily suggestive. Even at that, somebody might still challenge it and say, okay, what do you mean by something? What do you mean by something being suggestive and the other not being suggestive? Now, let me tell you, there are different understandings to the way we relate in life. Because of these differences in understanding, that's why we have laws. Okay, that's why we have morals. That's why we have ethics, rules and regulations to moderate us. If we don't have these rules and regulations, of course, we'll be like the Hobatian state, where life is short, nasty, and brutish. There are laws, that guide against rape. Okay, irrespective of the fact that societies try to be decent, we still have perverts. And because of perverts, of course, we have laws, that say, no, you cannot rape anybody. If you rape, sexual harassment is not just a criminal offense, it's also a terrible moral offense. And it's even a religious offense. So under any guise, no one should under any guise force the other person, for any sexual advantage. You should not take advantage of any other person because you are more powerful or because you want to justify it on the grounds of the person's appearance. Okay, the joke will now be back to you. The problem, the fingers will now be pointed at you as being the one that is depraved. Okay, as being the one that needs some re-examination. So whether decent or indecent, it is cultural, like I said, it is contextual, it is regional, it is religious, and under no justification should you pervert processes and commit criminal offenses, a criminal offense like rape.
Yeah, true. But it's still back to my question. Do you think the way you dress can contribute to you being harassed in any form?
Well, dressing can also be communication. Dressing can also mean some kind of communication.
Can you explain?
I will explain. Yeah, even in homes, in matrimonies, sometimes between husband and wife, if the husband, for instance, knows what to do in terms of appearance to attract the wife knows what to do to attract the husband in terms of appearance, and he can do this at different times of the day, maybe at night, in the afternoon, or in the morning. So somehow you can communicate through dressing. But when you now go outside, to deliberately communicate with the intention of directly or indirectly harassing the opposite sex, then someone else might define it as indecent dressing. But it may not also be indecent. If you're trying to make yourself presentable, to make yourself attractive. That's why I'm saying that this thing is actually contextual. Okay. It's very, very relative.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's very relative.
I'm still waiting to hear the definition of indecent because when you come to reasonable exposure and reasonable, as women, there are some women who, to wear the trouser suit you're wearing, they have to buy size 20 top and size 14 down, because that's how they're made. Or size 22 down and size 12 up. That means they must pay for 2 different suits. You understand? And then when we come to all of that, the first mistake we make first is assuming that all fingers are equal. Everybody doesn't have 2 hands, 2 legs, and the rest of it. But one thing is sure, everybody is a human being. So at no point should the standards be lowered. I mean, if we make an excuse for people to... Self-control is the basic thing. Even when something appeals to you, there must be consent. I mean, I go out trying to look good. I go out, flying my over hair and everything, and somebody goes, "Oh wow, I'm attracted to you, did this and that." And you think it's an entitlement thing? No, it's not an entitlement thing. You will propose, and I will accept. That is a decent relationship. That's how it works. Anything short of that doesn't work. Dressing is not an excuse. Dressing, if indecency as a factor in dressing is what attracts you, then you need mental health.
Yeah, but I also think that rape or forceful possession of love cannot be justifiable anywhere in the world.
No.
It's not justifiable.
There's no moral justification.
There's no moral.
Well, are we saying that it can lure? You said something. You are inviting me the way you are dressed. For example,
that's why
you are going to an office for an interview, or you are going to church, or you are going somewhere important, and you are exposing all this. You are actually inviting. So if you get harassed, are we trying to justify this?
No, that's why
there's no justification. There should be restraint. There should be restraint. But if you cannot restrain yourself, the law will take charge. But we don't also expect that everyone will behave decently in any social system. That's why we have laws. That's why we have rules and regulation. But it won't help us, or it won't take us from the fact that what is bad cannot be identified from what is good. Okay? Like I said earlier, these things are cultural, these things are religious. I see the Muslim woman wearing the veil as a demonstration of modesty, of humility, of decency. And I see the ideal Christian woman sometimes wearing the veil as well, depending on the church, and sometimes saying that the body is the temple of the Lord, or that the greatest sin you can commit against your body, against yourself, is sin against the flesh. So these are signs, these are practices that tends to help us guide the way we use our body. Okay, help us guide the way we use the body. But again, that's from the religious point of view. The cultural point of view is also there. The geographical point of view, national point of view is also there. So that's why I say this thing is multivariate, really.
There's a popular adage that says you are dressed the way you are addressed. And people do take you seriously or unserious the way you are dressed. Do you have anything to say to that?
Okay, so I was going to say that this thing about dressing being inspiring certain things is assuming that people are mostly on the dress. So when I see this person and I go, like, this is my spec, this is my type and everything, you look good, I love this suit. Some people are drawn to people in suits, some people are drawn to people in skirts, some people are drawn to people once they see legs, some people are drawn to nice biceps, different people are drawn to different things. So until we appreciate that those things are human, but irrespective of whatever you appreciate, the person who you are appreciating must appreciate you back for there not to be an abuse. It's okay to appreciate from a distance, so enjoy it, process it in your head, and
leave it there.
If you put it forward and they say I'm not interested, respect yourself and understand that they're not interested. But dressing is not an excuse. Some people say, you carry this big thing like this, why not go touch am? Guy, touch it and get in jail. People like me are looking for people like you.
Okay, so how do you think, let's now come to, how do you think a lady should be dressed?
Like a human being.
Okay.
I mean, I wake up different days and different things inspire my dressing. If I'm going to the field, I'm dressing different ways. I mean, sometimes you see me with my sleeveless and my shorts. I'm going field work, I'm climbing, I'm doing everything. And then somebody thinks, ladies should look like this, ladies shouldn't look. I drive myself all my distances within Nigeria. I do a lot of things that are, strenuous and the rest. I'm not defined by anything. My dressing, I dress according to how I feel that day, or where I'm going to, and all of it. I can be coming from somewhere and I go into another place. That's me. I don't choose how you dress. Some people think they're guided by their religion. Some people do not believe in religion.
Yeah.
So until we learn to respect the fact that everybody has choices, and if you don't respect everybody's choices, then there's bound to be infringements.
Yeah.
Respect everybody's choices. That's primarily it.
Do you have anything?
Look at better dressing now.
So how do you think?
And I find him very attractive.
No, but you say wow.
I'm very attracted to him.
So now you say this is a lady.
No.
Okay, there's some matchmaking. Because after this show we'll come back to that. But how do you think a lady should dress? And when you say the word a lady, so what are you?
Why should you even choose for?
Okay,
her?
so no, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
For a lady, really, I want to be careful with the way we use the word decent and indecent, because there cannot be an absolute definition of those words, But dressing can as well be reasonable. Reasonable in the sense that dressing, like she said earlier, also should also be to please yourself. Most people believe that the concept should be, the understanding of dressing should be pleasing yourself. But at the same time, you have to be reasonable and ensure that you are not provocative. Yeah, I think that word can also be. Yeah, I think I want to use that word.
Provocative.
They're not necessarily provocative. Okay. And again, in that case, environment or the place you are headed for will also come into play. If you are going to the nightclub, sometimes when I drive, I see how the younger ones dress to the nightclub. Okay, that may be contextual. You can understand there's a reason for being provocative, if you are going to the nightclub. But if you are going to an office and you want to be provocative, you may be sending the wrong message. And your intention in the office might be defeated, or your aim in the office might be defeated, and you will definitely be misunderstood. So it is largely good to be reasonable about the way we appear, about the way we present ourselves.
Now I'm sure the provocative thing came to you. Okay, final note. Do you have
rhetorical question?
Do you have anything?
In the spirit of defining provocative, that lady whose bosom is all over the place, is it provocative? That's what that's what she has to deal with, and that's what you have to put up with, and that's what you have to accept, irrespective of your religion, culture, whatever. Okay, so any recommendations? Dressing doesn't contribute. Dressing can be appealing to everybody, yes, but it doesn't contribute to sexual harassment. Criminals, lack of self-control contributes to sexual harassment.
Yeah, I think we should be reasonable the way we appear, and let's not walk in harm's way. Yes, the laws are there to regulate us, but at the same time, we should not provoke the devil, like they say.
To wake up some demons.
Yes. Let's not provoke. Let's not give the devil a chance. Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being part of this. I'm sure we've this is the part 2, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening, are wondering, and waiting impatiently to get the feedback of what we had to say last week. We'll be talking to Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi. He is the head mass communication based university here in Abuja. Thank you so much for being part of Dateline.
My pleasure.
And Dorothy Njemanze, she's a filmmaker, grassroots reorientator, and president, Dorothy Njemanze Foundation. Thank you so much for being part of it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. You're watching Dateline Abuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Always have it in mind that good dressing is good business, and it will however generate respect for you from everybody, and most importantly, it will save you the hazards of being a target of rape or sexual harassment. Also know that your image, whether you like it or not, creates a certain opinion about you, and in everything you do, make sure you apply some common sense, even if it's not common. But before we go, let's ask ourselves this question. Does saying that a woman can be raped because of what she's wearing or her attitude mean that she should be raped or harassed? You can share your opinions with us and send your messages via our social media page showing right now on your TV screen. And that's a wrap on Dateline Abuja for today. Thank you so much for being part of us, and join us same time, same station. I'm Hauwa Momoh. Bye for now.